lol, people still play this game.
And the answer is yes.
Yeah, this game. So that the one time that I pulled up Triple Rex stream, and only because I knew that he was done with the campaign, and I was pretty sure that he was doing PvP because that's how he had his stream listed. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, there's no spoilers there, right? I pull up his stream. The first person is like, "Lol, people still play that Destiny game," and Triple Rex was like, "Yeah, imagine that. The game that came out today, people are playing it. Could you imagine? Why would they still be playing this game that came out today?" It's like, ooh, sick burns, bro.
Jesus.
Sick burn. Sick burns. Sick burns.
Well, it's funny because back in my early days, I was super into musical theater, and especially the musical Rent, because like every good rebellious teenager. And I remember there was like a
Oh
group
my
of
god.
people. Yeah, there was a group of people who had been really into Rent in its original days, and like they even had like a nickname for themselves. They were like the OBC Line Queens, like the original Broadway cast Line Queens. They're the ones who stood in line like in the early days and like camped out to get tickets or whatever. And then like after Rent had been open for a year, most of the original cast had like moved on, and all of these
Mm.
original fans decided they didn't like any of the replacements, so now they're over Rent. They're like the spirit of Rent has been destroyed. The show is ruined forever. The magic is gone. But they still kept coming to see the show. And there were people I had seen it a couple of times with the original cast, but like not a ton because I was still a little young when it first came out, and my parents well, I did camp out for tickets a few times, but my parents sure as shit didn't know about it. So I had to be a little I had to be a little sneaky about it, but then they switched from camping out to like a lottery system, which made it a lot easier to convince my parents, like, oh, can I go and enter this lottery and get tickets rather than like, oh, may I sleep upon the crack infested streets of like 1990s Times Square, which they would have been like, no, dear God, no. Um, so,
To see a show about people who have AIDS. Yeah,
yeah.
that's like every parent's dream.
Basically. Well, and of course the funny thing is, like, the whole show is about, like, we don't want to pay rent, and we shouldn't have to take, like, day jobs, and shit, we should just get to be artists, and, like, 15-year-old me was like, yeah, that's right, I shouldn't have to pay rent, I should get to follow my dreams, I don't have to be a soulless automaton, and now 35-year-old me looks back at that show like, no, shut your fucking mouth, get a day job like the rest of us and pursue your like artsy dreams at night like the rest of us. You do have to pay rent.
Yeah.
But like you literally have to pay rent. Like
So, right. So, honestly, it's one that's that. So, I saw the show a couple times actually too, but not the original cast
because you have no
because
soul,
I don't
no
live
heart.
anywhere. I don't live anywhere near. Yeah, because I'm a terrible. Because I'm a filthy casual to the musical theater. No, so my thing is like actually I really wish that artists were paid properly so that they wouldn't have to. So like,
Keep
huh?
talking, but look at the screen. I just had to accept a EULA.
No, it's not. I hasn't updated for me yet.
Well, then there
Oh
might be like a
yeah.
7-second lag. You're now looking at a slightly different white screen.
Oh yeah. Look at it go. You can play the game now. But yeah, the people should just pay artists an amount of money that would allow them to pursue their art full time. But for some reason, people don't want to do that because they're like, art doesn't contribute as much to society as I do with my investment banking. And
Oh hey,
mostly
as it is.
people will agree with that because they don't understand what investment banking is. Because if they did, they'd be like, "Wow, you don't work at all, do you?" Like literally zero. Like you like investment bankers, I'm pretty sure they have never like actually worked a day in their life. They don't know. They don't know what. Anyway, so like Yeah, as much as I'm like, yeah, I want, yeah, like I look at kids today and I'm like, maybe you should get a day job. There's a part of me that's like a little dead inside because I'm like, why? Why? The most productive times in art and society were times when artists were just like paid a salary
I never
because they
knew
were
you
good
again.
artists, and then they were like,
Your
just come up
first
with
life in
whatever
the
you
ring.
come up with,
You
and
died on a
make sure, and
battlefield
Wait,
do your
almost before my
best.
time.
shh.
Oh, oh, I
Something
see it.
special
It's
Oh,
brought
coming
that's
us
right,
up.
because you're
together.
behind.
They
Yeah.
called it the Traveler. And when it arrived, it changed your world forever. It was a golden age. And for centuries, humanity thrived. Until it didn't.
Spoiler alert.
An ancient enemy pursued the Traveler across the universe. Humanity faced extinction. But the Traveler made a choice. Its sacrifice destroyed its ancient enemy and brought life to the ghosts. I am a ghost. More importantly, I'm your ghost. And you are
The
one
choice
of
the Traveler
Traveler's
made
chosen.
was
You
Nolan North over Dinklebot.
Still makes me sad.
This
That
is
wizard
your
came from the
destiny.
moon.
Hey, Nolan has grown on me, but I still miss Dinklebot.
I wish they would have brought him back for this version as like an alternate ghost voice. That's like the some secret unlockable where you can go back to Dinklebot.
Well, this is cool. So watch this. This is gonna show like the first, like Peach was talking about this. This will show you like the first time you did. So like that's like someone I'm not even friends with anymore, who I first did the Black Garden with. So it basically shows like the first
Oh,
time
wow.
you completed various things and who your
Va-
fire team
Voron-
was.
Voronway Core? I wonder how they're going to do this for the PC version. They're probably just going to shit all over it.
Well, they probably just straight up can't. Yeah, hey, look, a bunch of other people I'm
Yay,
not friends
Atheon.
with anymore.
Hey, look, it is.
Look at this wonderful trip through terrible memory lane. The
Oh,
people
man,
I played
King
with
X.
before Hero Squad.
King X
Oh!
Despair, he sounds like.
Those two were adorable. That was like this like little like stoner couple from Colorado that I used to always play with, but then they were like so stoned all the time they would forget to play. So I had to stop playing with them. They were cute though.
Big Blue 3S2 and Big Blue 3S3.
Yeah. Oh wow, apparently the
Wow,
first
and
time I
it
did
has
Crota's
the
End.
date list. It has the
I
date
know.
listed too.
This is kind of trippy. This is like, so apparently the first time I did Crota's End with, again, a bunch of people I no longer talk to, but also Peach was there. I didn't even realize that.
Yay, Peach. What's that Aussie jerk up to?
I was just talking to him earlier. He's like, oh, do you think you'll still be on in 8 hours? I was like, no. Because he was like off to work. He's like off to work for the
Aw,
evening.
poor guy.
He's like, oh, will you still be signed on in 8 hours? I was like, yeah, time zones, friend.
Oh yeah, House of Wolves. Again, Voronway Core.
Yeah, he was like one of my first Xbox friends. Oh wow, my first PoE with Beetle and
The
Captain.
cat of cats.
Well, this must be okay.
They
So yeah,
are
the first
dead.
time I beat
You are
Skolas.
not.
Yeah, so this must have been the first time I beat Skolas was with Beetle and Captain.
Oh, I remember. I remember you guys being in that room and doing it too.
But see, here's the sad thing. Here's the sad thing is I'm not going to be in anybody's memories because all these people who like were my firsts, I was like not their firsts. Like I'm not going to appear in anyone's shit here.
Oh. How did you get you got to the lighthouse? Oh,
I made some friends.
good for you. I didn't. I kept trying with Rat and Max.
Oh no, I just got
And
like straight carried.
We went 8-1 for like
Ugh.
4 weeks in a row, and I was about ready to just throw my fucking controller through a window because it's just like I can't take it anymore. Could not take it. Literally could not take it anymore. We were such a good team. But at that point, we were like reading each other like a book, and it was awesome.
And well, here's the first time I beat King's Fall. I remember we, of course, had thrown our heads against it for a while. This is funny. I didn't even remember there was a total rando there. I remembered that Heat and Raven were there, and that Beetle hopped in when Vile got pulled away by his wife. I knew that there was like kind of a fringe person there. I guess it was Husky Ninja, but I don't even know who Eddie Vedder was. He must have just like been a LFG or who popped in.
I thought he like joined for like 2 weeks or something, and then was like straight gone.
Also possible. There's a lot like that.
It's hard for me to
Iron efforts
remember
to a
King's Fall
tiger.
because King's Fall was the one that made me like straight up quit. Because I was
Yeah.
like, this is a much better raid, except for the final boss is just waved. It's super bullshit.
Oh, this is so
The
sad.
final boss is just super bull.
I have no memories of anybody that I beat Wrath of the Machine with for the first time because I just got so frustrated trying to do it with any kind of group that I ended up just running with an LFG. So all these people mean nothing to me. It was just like it was such a transactional like oh. I mean, it was like hookers.
Man, but
like
what
basically
good,
these are
what good gamer tags though.
Yeah, but I basically like lost my Wrath of the Machine virginity to like hookers. Basically, it was a very like let's just show up, like, put the money on the table,
That's
get it
fine.
done.
That's fine. You know, you pay a little extra, you get a little extra. It's totally fine.
And now I'm just staring at the tower. Oh. Alright.
It says start a new adventure.
Ooh, wonder which one I should start with.
Yeah, your cursor goes straight to the hunter though.
Yeah. That was an ironic. That was a very ironic, I wonder.
I think I'd have to pick the warlock because I feel like nobody's gonna go warlock.
The Warlock's pretty sweet. I'm going to consider myself kind of a co-main this time.
Well, the problem is that the hunter's the only one with the cool dodge move, and that's like the PvP standard at this point. It's the cool dodge move. So unless like warlocks get something like that, I don't know. It just feels a little bit like.
Every sensor beyond the wall was gone dark.
It just feels a little bit like hunters, like for PvPers. Especially with Golden Gun. It's so good.
What are the subfeeds telling us?
Nothing.
Well, that's good, right?
No. I mean, they're not there.
Part of me wants to fast
There
forward
are
through
no
this because I played it 4 times, but it just feels wrong. Especially since they could all be dead soon, I don't know. I haven't read any spoilers. For all I know, this is the last time I'll see any of them.
You know what they should have done? Not shown this in the beta. They should have just skipped the cutscene and then played the.
Right?
Or like.
Well, but I guess it would have been
and
a
just,
little
put
too
you
like
straight
what
into the
the
game.
fucky, you know? Well,
I guess.
or they shouldn't have made me play through it every time I wanted to try a new character on a new platform.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like, once you've been forced, like, it was so fun to play the first time, and it was still pretty fun the second time. By the third and fourth, I was like, kill me.
Yeah. I think that went for that strike as well. It was just like, oh god, can I stop now? Can I cease? That strike. It's just not the best.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that I will have additional strikes to play.
Also, playing with like blueberries, during the open beta, like, made me realize that this has a teen rating, but apparently parents don't give a shit about that.
Well,
Because
I
there
don't
were
know
like
though. I mean, it's
tons of
not.
like, there were tons of like 8-year-old kids playing the playing the strike, and they were like running around and shooting their feet and stuff. And
Well,
I'm
but
like,
like, look at.
oh,
Well, I mean, look at how many people like in our clan have their like 6 to like 8-year-olds play. I mean, I guess all things considered, the shit kids these days see.
yeah,
Tower approach. This is City Hawk 723.
ugh,
Anyone home?
oh, excuse me.
No response on
I mean,
any
I think the
channel.
feeling
Yeah.
is always like, as
Even the
long as you're
emergency
not
frequencies.
killing anything overtly human that
What is
bleeds
going on back
overtly
there?
red.
Remember when I told
You
that
know,
you
I
Forget I
and
said
there's
that.
also a part of me
Lie
that's
fast.
also kind of like, you know, I don't even actually. Wait, why didn't they make you make a character? Did they just port your
This
old
is-
character?
Yeah, they do. You can, well, just the appearance, really. You can choose to delete it. I mean, well, this is my OG first ever created character, and I would never delete it. And I like how my Titan looks, but I might delete my Warlock and remake it.
Huh.
We'll cross that bridge when I make a
being
second.
being on PC, I bet I'm gonna just end up like deleting all the way through anyway.
Well, I don't think there's cross porting.
Right, yeah. I mean, like, I think that's what I meant to say. That I think that they're just gonna be like, yeah, it's PC. You have to make a new character because we're not gonna let you take your characters from Xbox to PC because PC is owned by Blizzard.
Well, I mean, it also doesn't go,
PC goes through Blizzard and not Windows 10, so, which is funny because like there's other games that are coming out soon that are just like seamless.
So it's funny. So here's one big difference. Is I thought maybe you'd be able to pick. You bet it starts like Destiny 1. You can only pick the gunslinger.
I mean, that's fine. It's the best class, so.
It's my least favorite by a long shot.
I really like the gunslinger. That was like my first love. Was lighting up my golden gun and just like wrecking house.
Well, yeah, but that's the one thing where I just wasn't sure. I couldn't get a sense from the beta whether they were just like unlocking everything for the beta or whether that's how it was going to play. But it looks like, no, crap, I'm stuck playing the gunslinger until God knows when. That's a bummer. I was hoping
And
that
you
you
only
could, like...
have one weapon.
Yeah. So I'm guessing I'm not going to get that free rando exotic either that they gave you.
Can we just take a second and look at how good that gunslinger art is, though? Did you notice the
What, that?
gunslinger art? So good.
It is good. I mean, hey, look, I'm not a gunslinger hater, but it is my least favorite, and I was hoping that you could choose, like, which subclass to start with, but...
Man, that looks good. Yeah, I think you should have been able to choose one out of the 3 to start with, but yeah, whatever.
Oh no, there's 2, I think.
I thought there was 3.
I could be so wrong, but I do think it's only 2. I think
Okay,
that
I
we'll
won't
get
say
the...
any more just in case I'm accidentally spoiling.
No, that I don't mind knowing, but I was under the impression that it was just gonna be 2 per class at launch.
Yeah, I think I might be accidentally spoiling because, I definitely saw somebody playing the Void Hunter.
Hunter?
Give me a sec.
In Destiny
Yeah,
2?
Yeah, it was Triple Rick was playing. He's like, oh shit, I forgot I had Quiver turned on, and he was like doing some crazy shit with the bow.
Huh. Oh, yeah, well, I don't think that's a spoiler. I'm assuming that they'll both be unlocked. I mean, I've also just, I haven't been ardently avoiding spoilers. I've also just kind of been, like, busy living my life, and as a result, not keeping up with things too, so it's been like a combo.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure I saw him with the bow, and it has like a different where last time I forget what the crosshairs for the bow looked like, but they did it differently this time, and I was like, well, that's different, but also very cool. So the crosshairs are actually like, it does have like some drop, like the original bow had, but it actually has markers for the drop. So it's like, have you ever seen an actual bow sight?
No. I actually
Okay,
would like
so
to try archery one day, though.
it's actually pretty good. So what they do is for short range, there's like a line for short range, and it's usually up to like 30 feet, right? And there's a line underneath of that is like for the next 20 feet. And then there's a line underneath of that for the next 20 feet. So like each 20 feet it drops by like 5 degrees, because that's how much the arrow drops, and so it's actually really accurate. And that's how they get, you know, max or like the optimal accuracy. So they did that with the bow crosshairs this time, and I thought that was a really nice touch. Details, man, details.
Well, meanwhile,
Devil's
it's
in the
funny,
details.
you can see all these, like, prompts coming up telling you how to basically play the game, and the problem is they keep making me stop and get confused, because I already know how to do it, but I'm like, oh wait, what's that? That looks like important information. Oh, I was already
Can you
doing
pause
that.
and like turn off the tutorial?
No, I'll just ignore it. I mean, probably running out of things to be told. But it was like, I was in the middle of jumping, and it's like, press A to jump, and I'm like, oh, hold on, let me stop jumping to see what that says. Oh.
Nice.
Alright, I got a super already, though. That's good. You don't have to wait till you're, like... I feel like it took me a while to get my super in Destiny 1.
Look at the size of that thing. It must be their command ship.
Yeah, well, I mean, even in the beta they were saying that was like the main complaint, but then they like, when the PC beta came along, they were like, oh my god, they fixed it. Because then instead of like one super a match, if you like a PvP match, if you were lucky, people could get as many as 3 if they were doing pretty well.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, didn't it take you, like, didn't you have to be higher than, like, level... Like, didn't you have to level up for a bit before you even got a super in Destiny 1?
Oh yeah, no, you're right. That wasn't right.
Ugh.
You are
Ugh.
100% correct. I love your like Judge Dredd gun.
Yeah, this time I gotta
So,
remember
like-
to, like, keep all my initial guns, because I remember I was like, oh, I missed the Kavastov, I wish I had hung on to that, and this time I'm just going to assume that I'll nostalgically want this shit 3 years from now, and just not delete it in the
I'd be
first
like,
place.
oh my god, PvP, still the perfect gun.
Yeah.
Because the meta just changed, and now the Kvastov is like #1 in the fucking PvP. I remember that. I had to start. I was just like, oh fuck it, I'm just gonna start a character over to get it.
Well, that's... So what I ended up doing, I was just talking about this in chat earlier, what I ended up doing, so it turns... Yes, I know, hold me to crouch. You needed to create all 3 characters to get all 3 Grimoire. Like, you needed a human, an Exo, and an Awoken. I had Macon... Great, can you tell? It's like fucking midnight launch.
Making
I had Macon. I had made 2 Awoken, cause, you know, Awoken. So I had made 2 Awoken, which meant I didn't have the Exo card, so what I did was I deleted my Awoken Warlock and created an Exo Hunter so that I could get the Exo card, and then leveled her up just enough to be able to, get back my baby cloak and my full white armor and the Kvastov, and then, oh fuck, everybody's dead. And then, and then I deleted her again and like remade the warlock as a
I did something
It's,
pretty similar.
yeah.
That was great. Oh no.
Oh yeah. We were getting like wrecked, and part of me is like, oh, I hope that because this fight was actually kind of tough when I had really good weapons during the beta. I'm hoping they scaled this down appropriately.
Nope.
Yeah, considering me and the blueberry immediately died horribly.
Well, that was also because it's like, quick, get in my bubble shield because reasons. And you were just barely outside of the bubble shield, I think.
Apparently, I thought I was fully in, but you know.
Don't let them pass the gate. The evac
That's what
Oh,
she
that was
said.
my bubble. It's still like my favorite YouTube video,
I was
like
so
ever.
confused. I really had no idea what was happening at that juncture. I really didn't. I was just like, why does this asshole keep running up and putting a bubble in front of me? Why is his asshole's bubble canceling out my smash?
I was streaming the other day with Splatoon, and like some people were asking me to tell cool stories because I was talking. Well, I had a lot of like we were telling different stories about like weird stuff that happened to us in school, and then somebody on the YouTube side was like, "Well, which one of all your YouTube videos is your favorite?" And I was like, "My all-time favorite is the one where you find out what Vex is all about in 1 minute or less." And they were like, "Which one is that one?" I was like, I just linked it to them in the chat, and they were like, "What the hell?" And I was like, "I guess you kind of have to play Destiny." But basically, she didn't realize that. I had to explain it to them, and then it wasn't funny. And I was like, sorry. I'll go back to telling stories about me in school."
Well, it's also not
Apparently,
it's
they
like,
were very popular.
Well, it's funny if you know that I'm like generally an intelligent person. It's not funny if you think I'm actually like a brain damaged like.
Well, they just didn't get the Destiny joke. I was like,
Yeah.
what? She didn't realize that she had pushed the button. She thought she was, yeah. And then they were kind of like, oh. And I was like, but if you play Destiny, it's funny as hell. And if you know Vex, it's also funny as hell. And then they were like, all right, whatever. Go back to telling us how that girl in 2nd grade slapped you in the face. And I was like, all right, sure.
Yeah, that sounds right. That
Yeah.
sounds right.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a thing. It happened.
Well, meanwhile, we're broadcasting to my no viewers because I have one and I know who it is.
Who could that be? I'm hosting you, I don't know. But all of my viewers are like younger. So
Well, I could probably have lots of younger viewers too if they knew I had boobs.
Savala,
oh
the
jeez.
last of the shuttles is but the speaker.
Grill?
We never made it.
You grill?
Well, like,
I'm
I'm
going to
not
look
even
for
gonna
it.
show them, but you get to know that they're
Go with that
there.
call. Find the speaker. We're on.
It's a grill. It's literally freaking like every kid on Xbox.
Well, I mean, how much does your wife get of that?
She used to. Oh, she doesn't stream anymore. But when she used to, it was like there was one day where I had to just ban a ton of people. Like they were just coming in and just be like, "Show us your tits." And I was like, "Go to the aviary and say that because it's funnier," and then ban them. Did you see that thing that I put on Facebook the other day? Oh no, wait, you wouldn't have seen it because that's right, I tagged my sister-in-law in it. So my sister-in-law
Oh.
works at the zoo.
The command ship.
She works in the birdhouse in the zoo.
I'm sending
So
up the colony to pick you up.
she's a zookeeper. So I tagged it. I put this on her wall, but it's basically like, "Show us your tits," I say as I elbow my way into the aviary, and then it's a picture of like the great tit and which are types of birds.
I know. Also, boobies are a
Yeah.
type of bird, yes.
Yes, boobies are also types of birds.
I, too, have
Specifically
been a teenager.
Australian birds, I think. They're boobies.
Well, when I
Boobies are in
stop making fun
Australia.
of Peach about his didgeridoos and chlamydia-infested koalas, I'll start making fun of him for his boobies.
Man, those koalas. Everyone thinks koalas are super cute. The male koalas are like vicious creatures. They
Well, they also,
do
like,
not-
they're like almost all like chlamydia ridden or something. I think the species
Well, it
is
just
not.
happens to be. It just happens to be something that's being passed around populations nowadays. It's kind of an outbreak, but it should be gone in a couple years. It's like remember then there was a big outbreak in like old people's homes of like chlamydia.
Yeah, because they
and-
were like, I can't get pregnant anymore.
Yeah, it's like that.
Well, but all the chlamydia. You can't have the babies, but you can have all of the chlamydia.
Yeah.
Do
So-
enjoy that chlamydia.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of how it was for those poor cute koala bears for a little while. Yeah, that was
This
kind of
is-
what happened. Everybody kind of like buddied up in sixes, and I was kind of like, oh, I guess I probably should have made more friends and been a nicer person. But oh well.
Well, no, because I think that we all kind of pinned ourselves into groups too. Like, I'm just kind of like floating a bit more this time. 'Cause I just like, so I was thinking about trying to pull a group together for when the raid launches on Wednesday, because I do want to go in blind, but I'm like, the way my life is right now, and I just have so much other shit going on, I can't guarantee that I'm going to be able to play enough between now and Wednesday to even get into the raid. Like, let alone do well. I don't
Yeah.
even know whether I can get myself high enough level between now and then. Because, like, I really probably
Yeah.
can't play it all Thursday or Friday. And then, like, Saturday and Sunday, I've kind of been dating this guy for 2 weeks, so I might see him, like,
Oh,
or I
right,
may never
yeah.
hear from him again, because, you know, dating in New York.
Yeah, it's also
Lot could
like
happen between now and then.
trying to, oh, man, like trying to like beef yourself up for the raid, in time to catch it for the worldwide launch of the raid is
Yeah.
just so freaking stressful. And I just like the first couple times I was like, yeah, it's fun to do this, and then afterwards I'm like, this is not fun. This is work now.
Well, I don't
'Cause,
care.
I mean, it was like the raid would launch like less than a week after the game, the new
yeah, it
expansion
launches
would
way
launch,
too
and it's
soon.
like,
It launches way, because it goes on a streamer schedule. You know, they do
Right.
it for the streamers, not for you and me.
exactly.
But the
So
problem,
then I
but the
was just like, this is way too much.
like, I don't care about being world's first. I just want to be able to not be spoiled, and unfortunately, that kind of forces you to try and hustle to go first. You know, well, it's similar to like Game of Thrones. So there was like I couldn't watch the Game of Thrones season finale live for reasons, and I didn't want to have to live through an entire workday. Well, okay, so my job actually forces me to go on to social media. Like, in order to do my job, I have to go on to Twitter and Facebook, so I knew that I would get spoiled like hell just doing my workday for the Game of Thrones finale. I was like, fuck that. So what I ended up doing was having to take an Uber home from my gentleman's house to my apartment early in the morning and watch Game of Thrones before work just to make sure
Oh man.
just to make sure I wouldn't get spoiled throughout the day. And the problem is, if there was another show, like I also watched the TV show Younger, I enjoy the hell out of it. I don't think I saw this week's episode, and it's fine, because I know that I could still be, like, it hasn't been spoiled for me, and it won't be, unless I seek it out. Whereas, like, Game of Thrones, it's unavoidable, and the problem is, with Destiny raids, that shit is unavoidable. Like, it will take over all facets of the fucking internet, so if you're not there on launch, you just have to be okay with being spoiled, and that's kind of a bummer. Like, that's the part that annoys me.
Yeah, totally agree. It's just like, and so I definitely agree with that. I think my biggest problem though was like how much work it became to grind out the light required to be effective in the raid. Like, not just enter the raid, but also just enter the raid, but then
Right.
also to be effective in the raid. I remember the exact moment, actually, where I was trying to grind to get enough to go to King's Fall because I had already signed up on the 100, and the 100 was great because there was nobody with a set group every week. Somebody would just every week, someone, at least one person, would put up times, and we would all join when we could, and we all played together, and it was all great and fine and dandy. But yeah, but having a set time and being like, oh hey, we want to try it on launch day, and then me signing up for that, and then being like, look guys, I don't think that I'm gonna be able to make this because I have like a job, and like other things too, because
Well, because you didn't
I
take
do
the
like
week
softball
off. Like
and other stuff.
the only people
Yeah,
who were of level for Taken King, because it was like the Taken King dropped on Tuesday and the raid was on Friday, right? So it wasn't even like a week. Like,
right,
wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah,
it was
so it
just
was
like
like
a few days.
So the only people
And he
who
didn't-
did that, like, I had taken off, so I was perfectly of level because I had no life back then. I took off and stayed in like a hermit, so yeah, I made it fine, but I think you didn't even take off work, so yeah, there was no fucking way you could, like, level that.
Right. But
The
I wanted to try anyway because I wanted to play with the people who I had signed up with the group with, and then like I just got so stressed out, and I remember my wife coming into the room and like the dog was like sitting on my feet because when I get really stressed out, she does that. She'll come in and sit on my feet and try to get my attention by either like licking my feet or like pawing at my feet. Like, you need to calm down. You need to quit what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then my wife came in and she was like, I think your dog's trying to tell you something. I was like, I just kind of looked at the dog and I looked at her and I looked at this game and I was just like, you know what? This. just absolutely fuck this. And then I ended up playing the raid later and I was like, this was definitely not worth it. I'm glad I quit when I did. I wish I'd quit sooner.
Yeah. Well, I think I was there in your first run through. Was that the one where we had been to? And,
You were in my first successful run, but you were not in my several unsuccessful previous runs.
Oh, well, I think we had all had.
Yeah,
all had our
because
fair
you get
share.
all the way to the end, and if you can't DPS like fucking mad,
Yes, just like
then you
that.
can just, I don't know,
Yeah, Wrath
cry
of the
yourself to
Machine.
sleep that night.
Wrath of the Machine was a lot better about that, though. I think, like, most of the clan got through Wrath pretty quickly, successfully. So I think they balanced that a bit better. Taken King was just brutal.
Yeah, I completely agree that Wrath of the Machine was much better balanced. I made that one the first time through. With you, I think. But that was like,
Yeah,
the first time
same.
through, we were just like, yeah, we did it. And I was like, oh good, I'm so glad, because that Taking King shit was just... Ugh.
I think Taken King, honestly, I think that left, like, bad taste in a lot of people's mouths.
I think it
don't
probably
think
has like
everyone there.
50% of the blame of why Hero Squad is not as chill or cool of a place as it was when it started.
Well, I think it's more that the Taken
Well,
King
Glory
was
Days, not
so...
when it started though.
Well, I think it's just that the Taken King was so absolutely difficult. It was just like, or the raid. The raid was so fucking hard and unpredictably problematic that people started falling into, like, before King's Fall, like, anybody could post a session and you know that you could, like, reasonably get through and it would be fine. Like, Taken King was kind of so difficult that people started relying on set groups or just, like, kind of cherry-picking people simply because, like, one slightly underleveled person or someone who just isn't good at keeping track of mechanics and, like, you're fucked. You literally can't proceed.
Yeah,
And-
one person couldn't keep track of the 300 things in the one ogre fight. Like, you were just straight up effed.
So yeah, it was just like there was too, basically there was no room for error in King's Fall, and like randomish kind of groups are not guaranteed to not have those error variables, I should say. So I think that's kind of like when the group got a little more into just like having these different like floating or like regularly recurring raid groups and stopped kind of just being like, I want to raid on Thursday at 8, I'll post a session to see who joins. And so I think once like people kind of like split into those groups, they never like well, because then by then it's like, well, I like playing with these people, I like playing at this time, so I'm gonna stick with it. So even though Wrath of the Machine absolutely was much easier and did not require the same level of careful constructed teams, like by then the damage was done and people had already kind of been fractured. So that's kind of kind of a bummer.
That's why I absolutely blame Kingsfall for destroying what was probably the best clan out there. It was just sort of like we everybody just became it forced everyone into cliques. And if you either didn't have the time to level your character up, that was me, or if you couldn't quite like make the cut that was required of some of the players, which happened to a lot of people, I'm sure. You just weren't invited into the cliques, and then it kind of became like this, oh, you know, we don't want to intermingle, and posting and whatever and Sherpaing is not really a thing anymore. I mean, eventually they kind of went to some Sherpa things. Oh, this is new.
Oh yeah, we're officially into new content.
That's just a bunch of dead people at the bottom of the... What the hell?
Fire sword, void shield. Is that me? Am I the eagle? Am I about to see my own birth? So like that weird therapy where they like wrap you up in blankets and like make you redo your birth to kind of get over your trauma of birth? Probably not.
I don't... That's weird.
That is a thing.
I know it is. Unfortunately. I know that it exists, at least. It's funny because I saw somebody do it once, like not live, but I saw it on like a video, and apparently they do wrap you up in blankets and you have to like crawl through this like, it looks like one of those crappy like Playmobil slinky tunnels that like kids play with. Like make forts out of. It's like a slinky with like this polyester fabric in between it, and they make you crawl through there. And I was like, what in the hell? What is this? What? Lost light. Your powers are gone. Oh no.
I got nothing.
Clan's unavailable.
Oh, which means I already lost those cool new guns. I had so bonded with them.
Wow. Wow.
Where am I?
I don't know, but apparently you're gonna live in a bell tower and perhaps be French. I'm not really sure. It's freaking Quasimodo walk. Like, look at you. That's so funny.
It honestly reminds me of like in Silent Hill or like other games where it's like, oh, it starts going black and white and pulsating when you're close to death. I'm like, well, I know what this means. It's gonna die soon. Well, I guess I can't complain about being forced to be Gunslinger initially, since I would take Gunslinger over this.
Yeah, maybe you would, maybe when you get yours back, you can choose. That would be exactly what you wanted. You just have to play one story mission.
I can't tell whether I'm limping or, like, trying to sneak. Like...
I think it's like that Lonely Island video. The creep. You're just doing the creep. the creep. I'll do the creep.
See, I went the other creep. There's so many great songs called Creep. There's the Lonely Island
I know.
one. I do
You
the.
you don't say creep creep unless you're quoting TLC.
Although I do sing the Coldplay Creep on karaoke. Except I freak people out by like singing it as like full soprano. So I'm like, when you were here before, can look you in the eye. And people are like, why are you singing it so high? I'm like, because I can.
Because that's the vocal range of my voice you share.
I feel like I shouldn't be walking towards that thing that I'm walking towards. Oh no, maybe it's a ghost. It looked like an enemy.
Kayla and I did karaoke one time. It was fun.
But I can't resurrect you. Not since.
Only once?
Only once. It was somebody's birthday party. But it was kind of fun.
The light is gone.
We sang some
Jesus,
Journey
that's-
songs together. That was pretty fun.
That's fucking bleak, by the way. The ghost is all just like, oh, I found you, but I can't resurrect you. It's like, okay, noted. Don't die in this mission.
We have to get out of
Of course, we are music people, so we like sing in the car all the time. I've been like constantly. I've been like not demoted. Well, I don't know what the term would be, but essentially like relegated. That would be it. I've been relegated to harmony for like the rest of eternity. I have to sing all the harmony parts.
That's my only motivation for getting married right now. Built-in harmony.
Built-in harmony.
I'm a soprano, okay, I can only sing the lead lines. I can't take harmony anyway. I never learned.
It's not that difficult. You just keep singing different tones until you find one that harmonizes correctly. And then
No,
you remember
fuck
that
you,
one,
lead
and then the
line.
next time the song comes up. Yeah,
Fuck you on the lead line.
exactly, yeah. Just-
Yeah, all my little alto friends would make fun of us sopranos. Be like, yeah, but if you actually had to like learn how to harmonize, we'd be all like, but fuck you, we can sing louder than you. Fuck you. Drown out. Drown you out.
I don't know, like, my thing is, like, so I'm sure that dynamic was in my school choir too, but like,
Guardians.
I would always, I would be like the tiny little kid that would go up and be like, I'll sing bass, and they would make me sing bass, and that was always fun. So I'd be like, oh yeah, baby. It's just like, so it's actually really easy. Like even like as a prepubescent kid, it's pretty easy to like fake for me at least, to like fake a baritone or bass voice. just by doing like simple tricks like that, or doing like EQing, like properly EQing on the thing to just cut all my highs and mids. I used to have so much fun with that. And I
See,
still
with us,
do.
they were
'cause-
actually. We were weird because they were like straight up like power struggle wars between the altos and the sopranos. It was like serious business.
That's a little weird. Was this a school choir or like a church?
Yeah,
choir?
in high school. No, high
Oh,
school.
high school.
Yeah,
Mine was middle
church
school
choir.
church choir.
Yeah, I was about to say, I would think church choir would be a little better. I mean, high school is basically just like garden warfare.
I was always the. I don't know. When I hit high school, I was not gonna be singing anymore because that wasn't gonna get me all the ladies.
Well, it wasn't gonna get me
So
all
I
the
did-
guys either, but I kept doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I did the smart thing to get all the ladies. I started playing the saxophone. Worked out.
Well, it worked out with the
Worked out
lady you
super good.
married. That's basically all you married. That's basically all you needed.
Yeah, she was pretty. There was some times where she was quite upset. because of my saxophone playing.
Do you still play in the band though?
Yeah, I still play in my usual band. It's just impossible to find a drummer. Everybody keeps leaving. The last guy we had was like, I'm gonna leave with my indie rock band and go up to New York and play. And I was like, oh, that's cool, man. And then I found out like a month later he was like back in town, but hadn't told any of us.
Oh
And I was
jeez.
like, well, that's not cool, man.
There are easier ways to quit a band than moving for a month.
Yeah. I mean, he did like legitimately move with his indie rock band and then tried to make it, but then when he came back, I thought he'd at least like let us know. Instead, he just like instead it was just like, hey, I'm back in North Virginia on Facebook, which I was like, okay. Ooh, hey, look at that.
Yeah, I like waiting for your like 7-second delayed reaction to whatever just happened.
Sorry. Yeah, that was a really short porch too. It seemed like he barely took a step off of the
Well, it was-
level and it was just like dead.
Well, because I'm really confused. It was like, it really looked like the marker was saying, yep, you could just slide down this on your butt. It really, I'm still confused, because this really seems to be where the marker is telling me to go, but... Oh,
Maybe you have...
no, you'll see. In 7 seconds. I figured it out. It's fine.
Oh, this is path.
There's a path. There's a path.
Surprise.
I really thought I was gonna like slide down and like whee.
Hey, speaking of stream delay, I'm actually really interested in this. Oh, hey, there's this big ship. And Traveler. I'm really interested to see. Apparently, YouTube is demoing the ultra low latency for their live streams now.
Well,
I'm really
of
interested
course,
to demo
they
it.
need to. Well, they need to compete with Twitch somehow. It's but Twitch already has such a huge market share, and the Amazon thing. Like, yeah, of course
Yeah,
they gotta roll out
I don't
something.
think that YouTube's really going about it the right way, but I think what they should be doing is they should be buying esports tournaments to stream on YouTube, and adding in user functionality that Twitch doesn't have. That would be the smart play, but they're not doing that. Anyway, so instead of what they're doing is super low latency, so that everybody who streams on YouTube, it's much easier to snipe the shit out of them. It's so much easier to stream snipe when you only have like 1 to 2 seconds of lag time.
So what does that mean? That like I could watch a streamer and see where their position is and like fuck with them basically?
Yeah, like in PUBG, there's a bunch of people who do that now, who they just like find out where the streamer is and they see where the streamer is. They get over they first they queue up when the streamer does. They get into the same game, and then which is called ghosting, I think. Which is not as bad as stream sniping or something. I don't know. People they've decided on a whole morality scale for this for reasons. But ghosting is like the part 1, and then the part 2 is stream sniping, where you look at the stream and see where they are and what they're doing, and you go to that exact place, kill them, and then like wave at the camera. It's like the most douchebag way of saying like, hi mom.
I mean, I don't want to say they were asking for it.
Well, if it's just like a casual streamer and they only do it like once or twice, it's fine. But if you've got like 5 to 10 people all trying to do it at once, and your livelihood is Twitch, then it starts to get like a little bit to the point where it's like, oh, this is not good, because it kills the quality of the stream for everybody, and people are less likely to watch, which means the streamer makes less money, and there's a lot of
See, I would just
things
think that
go
it would
into
become its own thing at that point.
Well, but the problem is that it's impossible for the Twitch streamers to escape it. So it's like if they want to get away and they just want to play a regular game and or play a game with people, like if they're playing with subs or something, it becomes like, oh hey, we heard that you like to. We heard that we heard that you're trying to play with
Oh,
with
look. Somebody left a perfectly
people.
good
Oh,
guardian lying around. Things must be worse
the
than I
stream
thought.
just went black.
And that's
Yeah,
the
it's
key.
Oh, it's
weird.
because you died.
Well, kind of.
You died, but you didn't. You died, but you didn't.
It was. They tricked me into
As far
dying.
away from here as possible.
Oh my god, it's the assassins.
That falcon. It belongs
Falcon
to
can't
you.
hear its
The
falconer.
name's Hawthorne, and this is Lewis.
The
Best pilot
Falconer.
we got. What about you?
That was one of my favorite
Like to fly?
SNL skits. Did you ever see that?
Probably gonna need one of
No,
these too.
which one is it?
Oh my god. So it's
Time
like
to
this.
Make yourself useful, guardian.
It's almost like a
All right,
weird
people,
like
spin 'em up.
superhero
Got
thing,
love
but
for
he's like
everyone.
the Falconer. And he like just shows up in situations and like he tries to use his falconing skills to get them out of trouble and stuff. It's just like it's so bad. It's like one of those so bad it's good kind of thing. So bad or so bad it's funny. But yeah, anyway, stream sniping. Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem for professional Twitch streamers. And having only a 1 to 2 second lag over on YouTube is going to make that so much easier.
Center of my empire. See me, and the Red Legion will be your true
Ooh, a story time.
guardians. Dominus, the city is secure.
Oh, I look forward to
Those
killing
who
this guy.
fled
Probably
are
not till the
being
raid.
hunted, and those foolish enough to remain have been executed. Victory,
Well, you
as
know-
with all things, is yours to claim.
I'm not sure how they're going to play it this time.
This victory is as much yours
Oh,
as
true.
mine, old friend. All that remains is the completion of the cage.
I just have to admit, I've never found the
Then we may
Cabal
begin the extraction of its
super
power.
compelling compared to, like, the Vex or the Hive.
They call it the Traveler. I would contend that other civilizations may be more precise.
Yeah, I think they should have. I would have liked to see a little bit more on the Fallen this time around.
As we have so clearly proven.
Or the Vex, or and I know everyone's like, oh, I'm tired of Hive stuff. I'm not. I kind of find their mythology really fascinating.
Dominus.
I just never found the Cabal very interesting, so when I heard that D2 was going to be very Cabal-based, I was kind of like, yay!
Yeah.
They're just like war machines. It's like, okay, that's interesting, but like not psychologically so.
Yeah, like the cool thing that so like the added character flavor of Klingons being like very much an honor driven,
You will be
whereas these guys are kind of just like winning is the only honor. Yeah, it's like where the Klingons at least like they had that grain of lawfulness that even though a lot of them were like pure evil, they were still lawful evil.
Yeah.
Whereas these guys are just like, winning is all that matters. Which, I don't know, maybe they'll try to get smart and say something with the story, but I don't know. Probably not. It's probably gonna be a game.
Hey, speaker's alive-ish. But sure not speaking anymore.
Wow.
And do we go back to the randos who found us? Like, hey y'all! I guess those are probably gonna be our new little friends.
Coming up on the European Dead Zone. Gonna be our new home for a while.
Look, do you recognize it? That's where we're supposed to go.
That thing? They call it the Shard of the Traveler. I call it
Whoa.
not a place you want to go poking around.
Have these people ever heard of carpooling? They all take their own ship.
Well, I mean, they do look small on the inside. I mean, they all look like they're like single flyer, which just seems weird. They're not like, well, you notice you never see like guardian children or anything. I guess that'd be kind of grim, though.
Yeah, or just like, where's like the regular children?
Well, I just assumed that they were like in the city below.
Yeah,
Hey, I
I
got a
guess if you
ship.
live to be 300 years old, though, like, you don't want to have too many children. Or if you're a guard, if you're a guardian, like, you don't want to have, you don't want to have a kid that's a guardian, because then it will always be a kid for all eternity. You just keep
Like,
rezzing the kid.
exactly. That's why I was like, you never see Kid Guardians. I'm like, wait, that's actually really fucking spooky. And of course you don't
Yeah.
want that.
Oh man, but you know what would be really cool if they had like this one kid guardian who was like 200 years old but still looked like a 6-year-old, but who could like badass whoop some serious ass. Just be like, whatever, I'm a kid. Like Game of Thrones. What's her name? Uh, in the
Oh, Lyanna Mormont.
Yeah, Lyanna Mormont.
What news, Guardian?
Just like straight badassery.
Well, so I've seen
I'm glad to see you.
Tyra Karn. Which one was she?
I am Tyra. Tyra
Cryptarch.
Karn. I'm sorry.
No, but wasn't
We met
she?
before. Losing my connection to the light.
Oh yeah, she was at the
Disorienting. Now,
she was at
The
the
other place.
thing with
I
the
understand
iron
it's
and
the
the
shard of the traveler.
banana and
I
the
too
whatever.
dreamt of it.
Lords of Iron.
Jagged,
Yeah.
like an edge.
The
Oop.
weird snowy mountaintop.
I do not trust its
Oh,
pull.
that thing. Yay, new cloak though. That's not letting me put it on.
The Dreamer's Cloak.
It gave it to me, but I have no idea how. Maybe I can't equip it yet or something.
I'm glad that dreamers are allowed to wear cloaks in this time period,
I'm glad to see you. So
because in our time period they're kind of crapped on right now. Those
Totally.
dreamers.
Oh, you'll see in your 7-second delay that I was confused. I was like, why won't let me equip it? It's like, oh, because I didn't actually pick it up.
Oh. Oh no.
Oh, how terrible! They made me put on a much less attractive cloak that's a higher level of light. That's just mean. They're making
It
me
looks
choose
like it's
between
supposed to have
fashion
a
and
hood,
power.
but then it doesn't.
Oh,
Oh,
well, I
maybe-
have a. Maybe it's because I have the.
Yeah, I think it folds it down so that you can see your face or whatever.
There you go. Oh, well, I say there you go. There you go. In 7 seconds, you'll understand what I just said.
Yeah, you probably turn the helmet off. Yeah, always. Great. Yeah, that's what I thought.
But yeah, so
Now
I've
you got
seen.
your
I've,
Assassin's Creed hood.
So I've seen how two different things handled vampire children. In like Interview with a Vampire, like the one little girl gets vamped or whatever, and then like ends up being
Yeah,
like
that was
stuck
great.
as like a yeah. So she
great.
gets like stuck as like a little child, is like, but I'm a grown woman and want to have sex and stuff, but I'm a kid, and so she goes a little nuts. In Twilight Land, like the kids they maintain like the mental ability of children and the impulse control of children, so like they're destroyed by like the vampire mafia because they're basically like, yeah, you created tiny little killing machines who can't be taught better,
Weird
so
idea of a good time. Oh well.
Wait, what was that?
Listen, I know
What
plenty
what
about trusting
series
your
was
gut.
that from?
in Twilight,
about to stop you.
in
Oh.
Twilight, like the lore was that like vampire children
Take that
never
sheep you
mentally
believe in.
progressed, and so they
least
basically
it'll get
remained
you back
like
faster.
insane
See all
children.
these refugees? I haven't lost.
Yeah, that's
Um,
infinitely dumber than Interview with a
Don't you
Vampire.
be my first.
Well, I mean, they're different shades of dumb.
But I really liked the Interview with the Vampire version, and not just because it was Kristen Dunst, But like I like that dynamic where it was just like what like literally eventually you know I guess there's something to be said for the maturity of a brain being semi-physical. That
Mm.
probably wouldn't have happened because obviously it wouldn't. But then on the other hand, it's like, but you would eventually just get tired of being a child. Like you would find you would just from being around long enough, you would acquire more wisdom because you're assuming that your brain still works. And for it
Well,
to work, that
exactly.
means you'd have to be able to acquire new things. And even though there's plenty of research that says that that would be an actual physical change, which would require the growth of new cells and all that other stuff. I guess that's a little bit more scientific than I wanted to get into. But anyway, you would think that that would be the more accurate depiction, and it also allows for a very interesting character and a very interesting character arc.
Mm.
Where it's like I just kind of like I can't have what I want, and I really just wish that I could just die now because immortality just sucks. I'm always going to be looked upon as a little child, which you know I think a lot of children at least can identify with. Not that they should be watching that movie, but I felt
No.
like a lot of, or at least like preteens that would have snuck into that movie, or maybe saw that movie behind their parents' backs in some way or shape or other. Me might have identified with that like, am I always going to be treated like a child? And spoiler alert, if you're a millennial, then yes, you will always be treated like a child by baby boomers. Congratulations. But yeah, I liked it a lot. I don't mean to be like I liked it a lot, and you didn't like the thing, so you suck. But I don't know, I really liked that.
No,
I
yeah, I
can
mean, I
see
have
how
nothing
it would
against
be
either of
silly.
them. I was just saying that they're two different versions.
It's Interview with a Vampire is my clear favorite in the child vampire depictions.
So I'm looking at the collection. So Peach slightly misled me because he said like, oh yeah, all of my emotes carried over, but they clearly don't. Like the ones that I paid for aren't here or whatever. Like there's a bunch here, but these are not like. These are
Yeah,
not like. Yeah.
is the salute the one that comes with like the special version or something?
I believe so because it's legendary. So my guess is that it is. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, there's nothing against any of them, but
Wait,
again,
maybe
it's just
those
like.
are all the emotes. Maybe they rather than keep them as legendary, they made them into
No, but
greens.
it's not, though.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, this is because I bought a lot of them.
Oh, okay. I was
like
gonna say.
no, I mean it's a fair amount, sure, but it's just like.
There's no blow a kiss, and that's the one that I care about, so. Because
Yeah,
if you
that's
don't
like.
snipe somebody, if you're not sniping people and then blowing them kisses while their kill cam is on you, then you're doing it wrong.
Let's say with like emblems, it's just like like I don't know, it's cool that you get like some of these if you earn them in the first place or whatever, but I don't know. I wish that other ones had come in.
The Laurel Triumphant.
Yeah, like I guess that's the Luria Prima.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know which of these are the most rare.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I'm not even quite sure where to equip it.
I just make sure my crap is color coordinated, and then I just like, whatever.
Well, I
As long as
just...
it's color coordinated, then I don't care.
Unless I'm missing it and you can't really weigh in... Oh, wait. Toggle subscreen. Yeah. I can't figure out how to scroll down in order to, like, equip the emblem or whatever. Am I maybe just dumb?
On it was the down button. It was S
There you go. Yep.
on
That was it.
yeah, I
I
just
was, like,
remember it was
looking for the arrow.
S on the keyboard for the beta.
That makes sense. But yeah, like, I think that was the point that kind of killed Destiny. Or not killed Destiny, but like when I kind of stopped putting in an effort around the April update was when they were like, absolutely nothing will carry forward. I was like, well, see you in Destiny 2. Like,
Yeah, I was the exact same way. I'm like, cool. Yeah, out.
well, it was funny. I was just like bopping around the tower earlier tonight just for the hell of it or whatever. And and was like, oh, let me like do some inventory management. And then I was like, or I could just like absolutely fucking delete everything because nothing matters.
Just like real life.
Well, kind of. I mean, not to get morbid, but I mean, we spend all of our lives trying so hard to get certain, you know, material, blah, 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 blah. And for what? You know? For
And
what?
in the end, we try so hard, and in the end, it just doesn't even matter.
Basically. Alright. How do I director? Open director. I do like that you can open the director without, like, going to orbit. That was a much needed change.
Oh yeah, that was like my main. I remember when Destiny originally came out, and like I was talking to my IRL friends about it, and I was like, you know what sucks? That. Why do I gotta have a damn loading screen to do any? I have to go out to the loading screen to choose to go to the next loading screen. Like that just seems like a poor design choice.
Basically.
And then they were like, no, it's freaking artistic, man. It's an artistic decision. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Nobody cares what you think. I'm a
Yeah,
terrible person.
I appreciate your terrible opinion.
Yeah. Wait, where'd you get that ship? That's not the one you started with, was it?
Well, I don't know, this is the first one that I was just given
Oh, okay.
by my new little friend. Because again, it's just like, I really, maybe I was naive, but I really thought like ships and emblems and shaders and stuff like that would carry forward. I thought Grimoire would carry forward. I guess it makes sense why they did it from a marketing perspective, because I understand it would be difficult to convince new people to play the game if they already felt like they were at a massive disadvantage, basically.
Yeah.
You know, I've been all over the
And I can see why they would want you to buy your emotes again.
Well, yeah. But problem is,
Activision! I like that all of those things are like almost always like due to the publisher. So you know how did you hear that Bethesda is going to like retry their paid DLC or not paid DLC paid mods again? But they're like not calling them paid mods. They're calling them mini DLC, but they're paid mods.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Because what happened? Like people
Great.
rebelled against it or something? I don't remember the brouhaha.
Yeah, the original one, people were just like, yeah, we're not buying any of these, and then they didn't make any money on it, and then they were kind of like, oh, okay, well, and then they're like, hey, we're gonna do mini DLC, and everybody was like, gee, that really sounds like you're saying paid mods with different marketing terms. They're like, no, that's not what we're doing. And they're like, are they like mods to the game? They're like, yes. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. Are we paying for them? Yes. Okay, but they're not paid mods. No.
Yeah,
Okay,
but at
so-
least give it as a credit. At least they weren't like, well, we're now disabling all unofficial mods. Like, at least they didn't pull that shit. Oh, crap.
Yeah, I mean, on console, that's essentially what it is on console. and there are some mods. Like
I
you
thought
do
that they
have
were
to
all
do
free on
some things.
console. Like,
Oh, like no,
for like
no.
Fallout
They don't have. I don't
on
think
the
they have
console?
very many mods on console, but
I think they have a fair amount, and I don't think you have to pay for them, only because the friends I know who've used them are not the kinds of people who pay for things.
ah,
Let me know when you reach me.
interesting. Yeah, no, I had heard, I had heard that basically they were just like consoles are pretty much screwed, or maybe I'm thinking maybe it's just PS4 that's screwed, and Xbox is fine.
Maybe, but I think PS4 also has its own, like, issues with that.
Yeah, PS4 has its own issues because Sony wants a cut, and Bethesda's well, not it's not even Bethesda. And the other thing is like everyone's always like Bethesda, you suck. It's all your fault. It's kind of not. It's ZeniMax. They're the ones that are like ZeniMax needs the bottom line to be good, and so like microtransactions and other stuff like that. The Elder Scrolls Online. Those, which is actually probably the best thing that they ever did. Whoa, what the heck?
Oh yeah, I made some friends in the last 7 seconds.
Are those like vandals with like cool cloaks or something? Like what the
Basically.
heck?
Any house colors we
That's pretty cool.
I got
They're
a little
hunter
nervous
vandals.
I got a little nervous when it was like, here's how you switch to your power weapon. I'm like, why are you telling me that? Like,
Yeah. Here's how if you're in a lot of trouble, you should switch to your power weapon.
like, oh,
Also,
noted.
please enter this room with a lot of waist-high cover.
Basically.
It's
I'm
like,
like, so I
what are you
played
trying to tell
game-
me there?
I have played video games before. I see the signs and signals.
It's like the sign is literally written on the wall.
Oh, I just got my first loot chest. You can't wait to see it in like 5 more seconds. Oh, I have a real
Alright,
gun.
let's see what's in it. It's a what?
Oh,
A railgun.
A real gun.
Oh, a
Like,
real gun.
not a damaged level 10.
The pariah.
Ah, these early days when you could still, when I'm not like, ugh, I'm so over everything, I'm tired of all these white weapons. It's like, right now it's like early enough days, I'm like, ooh, everything's a constant improvement, life is great.
Yeah, Triple Wreck was saying that he really wanted a Crucible mode with that like locked you into using green gear or lower only. And then like made attack powered matter. And you only had like green or white gear.
Well, here's one of my few complaints about D2 so far. I try not to complain about a game that's been out for like 30 minutes. But the one big thing I don't like is that they made like PvP cap at 4. Here's the thing. Because raids require 6 people, they basically forced us into 6-person cliques and then took away any way for those cliques to ever play together.
Yeah. Like, well, in anything other than the raid. Yeah, exactly.
Basically,
they made
yeah.
it 6-person raid, and it worked actually. I really enjoyed the like 6-person like easy peasy whatever Iron Banana.
Exactly. It's like, how many
Just have
nights
fun
would we
with
like
each other, kind
do
of
fun with the
PvP.
raid and then do Crucible? Like, we would do that shit all the time, and they basically like took that away from us, and that's kind of sucky because now you have all these preset groups, and it's like, great, well, we just did a raid, and now like let's split apart, you know? Like, that's kind of
Yeah.
shitty.
Yeah, I super agree. And it would be really cool if, like, when they actually announce the Iron Banner, they're like, it's the Iron Banner, and by the way, it's for 6 people at a time. I'd be like, okay, like, that makes sense, because PvP, in its normal state, it's 4v4, but then you do these specialized events of Iron Banner that brings everybody back to the game. And when you bring everybody back to the game, it makes sense that you would have a party of 6 because you're just kind of like, let's all get together and do Iron Banner. But then you go into Trials of Osiris and it's 4 people, which I also agree with, adding the
Oh, is
extra person.
I hadn't even noticed that Trials is 4v4 too.
I think Trials is 4v4 as well.
Wow.
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that Trials is going to be 4v4 as well. Unless they do like a 2v2 Trials, in which case that might be interesting as well.
I just kind of assumed
but
it was gonna stay 3v3. Just
yeah, I think it just sort of 3v3 worked because fire teams were of 3. Like the
exactly.
basic
Like
fire team was of 3.
what I basically liked about how it worked before was it's like you could have your little like raid click of 6 and you could split. Like there were all those times when I would like run with 6 people in a raid and then we would split into 2 teams and do a nightfall but stay in the same party and chit chat and stuff like that. And just like going to 4v4, just like, hey look, I understand the streaming community wants 4v4 because reasons that I don't understand. But they could have at least kept like one game mode that's like 6v6. Just like one super cash, like always available Clash 6v6, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely... Sorry, I'm just like... Sorry, my laptop is just like... Power is low.
Laptop is angry at the world.
No, my power's low, but it's plugged in. That's why I'm like, what the hell?
Oh. Oh god. Oh, angry
Yeah,
cat.
I think it's time for me to go to bed then.
Yeah.
It's like plugged in. It's plugged into the wall, but it's not my house, so I don't know how to turn to make sure that the thing is got what it needs.
Oh, are you still at your in-laws?
So yeah. Until the end of this week, probably.
Oh, hey, so that's not too bad. I mean, the end is nigh.
It'll be like 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, no, that sucks, but at least the end is in sight.
Yeah. I'll live through it, I guess. Alright, well, it was fun, but I'm gonna go before I run out of batteries here.
Hell yeah, but it was fun hanging with you. I'll probably be back on tomorrow night at some point.
Alright, I'll try to catch you then.
Alright, dude, sleep well. I'll talk to you soon.
Alright, night.
Night.
I think we scared them away. Take me to the shard. Traveler's license. Do you feel it? Hold on to your helmet. Do you feel it? The light is back. We're back. Eyes up, Guardian. to show.